What's going on, Sooner Nation? All right, we got to talk some football. We got to talk some transfer portal, and I want to talk about some guys that Oklahoma needs to target. A couple of them you might be familiar with, but there is a defensive lineman that, my Lord, if Oklahoma could go out there and land, he would be a monster with Todd Bates and Brent Venables. But guys, I need to hear from you all, and I want you guys to join the discussion. So make sure you pull up, you bring your Baja Blast, you bring your bag of chips, whatever it is. Join the discussion. Jump down in the comments below. Eat and drink. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and you hit the subscribe button, because 62% of you guys that watch my show are not subscribed, and we're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and I need your help, right? So just make sure you're subscribed. It really helps me out. And thank you for tuning into the PG Show, where we talk about all things Oklahoma athletics. We're talking softball. We're talking football. We're talking basketball. We're talking softball. And today we're here to talk transfer portal for Oklahoma. And I know a lot of people, when Oklahoma had the quote-unquote exodus, or at least that's what all the hater Hanks are going to tell you on social media and on the YouTubes, is that Oklahoma had this exodus on the offensive line and that we were in a bad position. And I want to start by saying that to all the hater Hanks, that it's not true, right? A lot of these guys, they just weren't cutting the depth chart to begin with. And it was shocking that half of them were here as long as they were. So I'm not the only one that you look at and say it was lost was Caden Green, but there's nothing the staff could have done to have kept Caden Green here. And you know what? We wish him the best at Missouri, and we'll just have to see him this season when we go up to Columbia. But it's left a lot of Oklahoma fans asking that question, right? Because we've only gotten Fabichi Wewu, you only got Spencer Brown, you only got Michael Tarquin. And so a lot of people are saying, well, that's not enough. We need more depth. We need more starters. Like, who's left? Because right now it looks like you're about to strike out on Lance Hurd, although that commitment hasn't came yet. So, you know what? It's Tennessee right now, but it's the portal. Anything can change, right? And it's a former 5-star. Caden Proctor entered the portal, and I don't think any Oklahoma should have an expectation that Caden Proctor would come to Oklahoma. There should be absolutely no expectation, because Caden Proctor was almost going to commit to stay at Iowa, right? And then he ended up going to Alabama because of Mr. Saban down there. Now that Saban's gone, he was homesick. Kind of like Dalen Smothers, right? You enter the portal, you go back home. So we should be seeing that one come down the pipeline quickly. But there were a couple Washington offensive linemen that hit the portal yesterday that a lot of Oklahoma fans might be familiar with, but you also, like, if you weren't paying attention, maybe you didn't realize it. And the first one is Gerion Hatchett, right? He entered the transfer portal. He made 25 appearances in Washington. He missed 3 games on the back half of this season due to an injury. Washington is a guy, was a part of that Joe Moore Award offensive line. He was in that room. You get him to Oklahoma, and then you get a brightly young, talented piece that Kellen DeBoer and that staff at Washington were very excited about. And that's going to bring his brother Landon Hatchett, right? So obviously, you look at landing destinations for both of these guys. You're probably taking both. You're not taking just one, kind of like what it was with LT Overton and Micah Overton back when they hit the portal. That one, well, one was committing, the other one hit the portal. Landon Hatchett was a guy that Washington and Kellen DeBoer were very excited about. They thought he had a lot of upside. And with Seth McLaughlin hitting the portal, you imagine Alabama's going to push that need to Landon a little bit more because he's a center. And looking at how they're both graded, I think it would be a good pickup for Oklahoma. I think they would be really good pieces to come in here and challenge for depth. You look at Gerion Hatchett, right? Plays guard, 6'4", 303 pounds. He's a sophomore, so you're going to get 2 years of eligibility? 2 years, 3 years? Or 2 years? Anyways, had an offensive grade of 59.8 this year. Pass block grade of 45.5, so he has a lot of room to improve there. And a run block grade of 62. In 2022, though, he had a 72.6 offensive grade. So obviously you can see where the injury probably inhibited him a little bit. He had 263 snaps on the offensive line this year. Landon, on the other side, had 120 snaps, graded out offensively at a 65.7, a pass block grade of 44.9, and a run block grade of 69.1. I look at this and I say, you get them in the room with Bill Bedenbaugh, and we say this all the time. Bill Bedenbaugh's a really good developer. Bill Bedenbaugh can get the most out of this talent. We know that Oklahoma had been recruiting these guys before. Maybe there's something there. I know there are rumors that they're on campus now. Have not been able to confirm that yet. So as of right now, we're going to say no, but cannot confirm that they're on campus or not. I do want to shift gears, though, because a lot of people have had questions around the defensive line because we've talked about the offensive line for so much. That's all we've talked about. We talked about Oklahoma needs to get this guy. There's this guy that hit the portal, right? They're all offensive linemen. David Hicks didn't hit the transfer portal, so we kind of just forgot about the defensive line. But there was an elite defensive lineman that hit the portal, and that was DeBraylon Carroll out of Rice. And you might be saying, Rice? Yes. He's a junior, originally from Duncanville, Texas, 6 foot, 290 pounds. Obviously, we need to add a little bit more weight to get to that 300 that you would like to at least have the interior guy at. But dude's a monster. This past season had 46 total tackles, 18 solos, 3.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery. The season before that, 20 total tackles, and 2020, 21 total tackles. The dude just constantly produces. And the dude actually lays out some big hits. Defensively, he graded out at an 80.7, which was 41st in the country. And he's only improved every season. 78 in 2019, 2020, he was 75. 2022, he was 69.3. And then 80.7 this year. He had a run defense grade of 76.5, which was 145th best in the country. He had a pass rush grade of 77.1, which was 48th in the country. And he had a coverage grade of 62.2. He played a total of 677 snaps this season on the defensive side of the ball. Redshirt junior, only going to have 1 year left. But this is a guy that you bring in. He's going to be able to give you some production on that defensive line. Now, I don't believe Oklahoma has actually offered this kid yet. But I know that Todd Bates and this staff, they're going to see him. And they're probably going to have to take a heavy consideration to offer this kid. Now, I think there's still expectations that Davis Stone and Jaden Jackson are going to be able to give us a lot of production this upcoming season as true freshmen, right? On the defensive line, I think you expect that from them. So, transfer portal's not over. I really thought we were going to have to wait till spring. That's kind of what everybody else is saying too. But shoot, this transfer portal all the way up until the spring might be hot. And if additional pieces get added in the spring, which is, I mean, Oklahoma's done that before. I'm just thinking like, you could have a really good team next year. And looking at the schedule in the SEC, I think the schedule's a lot more winnable than we originally thought. Especially now with Alabama losing Nick Saban. And all they've lost talent-wise on the field. So, guys, I need to hear from y'all. Make sure you're joining the discussion, jumping down in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and you hit that subscribe button.